Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're an old subscriber, thank you so much for coming back to see another of my video. That means you love my channel. Thank you so much. And for my new viewers who are just seeing this video or coming across this video or any of my videos you're coming across before trying to view this one, thank you so much for viewing this video. And if you haven't subscribed, please kindly do so. Thank you so much. All right, so guys, today I'm making a jumpsuit. All right, design will be an overlap. That's the upper part of it, to be an overlap jumpsuit, okay, with it's a wide leg, not so wide, but a wide straight leg. Okay, so I have these two fabrics. This is like this is the purple silk crepe, so I'll be using this for the upper part and plain crepe for the trouser. Okay, so there are two types of jumpsuits, just like there are two types of gowns: the joining jumpsuits and non-joining. So I'll be doing the joining jumpsuit. Okay, so the upper part will be separate and the lower part will be separate as well. Then you join them together to make a jumpsuit. Okay, so these are the things that we needed for this: my fabrics, my curve, my French curve ruler, whatever you want to call it, my small ruler, my scissors, pin, very important, my tape, chalk, my measurements, my long ruler, and a pattern paper. So I'll use pattern paper for the upper parts. I don't know if I'm going to use it for the lower parts yet. I'm not so sure yet if I'm going to use it for the lower parts, but basically I'm using it for the upper parts because it's an overlap top. Yeah, so it needs either you cut it on a lining or another fabric before cutting straight on your fabric or your main fabric, or use the pattern paper for it. Okay, because it's an overlap, it needs some serious cutting going on, right? So I'll be using my pattern paper for that. Basically this is all we need. So guys, let's start cutting. Okay, so I'll be cutting the upper part first, and for this the measurements I need are my shoulder measurement, my shoulder to bust, my shoulder to under bust, my half length, round bust, round waist, and under bust. So guys, this is very important. Should in case you haven't seen my measurements video, all right, please kindly do so. I'm sure the link is in the description box, so go watch the measurement video, especially measurements for jumpsuits. All right, for this particular jumpsuit I'm doing, go check out the measurements. You need to know how to measure before you start cutting. So in case you haven't done so, please kindly watch the measurement video, okay? Or if you have and you can't remember, please kindly refresh yourself before you start cutting, okay? So those are the measurements I need for the upper part. All right, so for the folding, what do we need for the folding? Okay, fine, I'm not cutting directly on my fabric, or I'm not using a lining. I'm just using my pattern paper, and it's just one. I won't be folding this because I would love to manage this pattern paper, so I won't be folding it, but I will let you know what you need to fold in case you are using another fabric or lining to do your cotton first before placing on your main fabric. Okay, so the measurement you need for folding is the largest circumference. This is the upper part, right? This is the upper part. So what is the largest circumference? That should be the bust. Okay, my bust is 32, so that means 32 divided by 4, that is 8. Then you add extra 12 inches allowance. Okay, extra 12 inches allowance. I think that's the maximum. You can go below that or a bit above that. Okay, so I'll be adding 12 inches allowance. Before we continue, guys, just note that when sewing, when making an outfit, there are different ways you can make the same outfit. Different ways. It just depends on you, which method is easier for you or the best for you. All right, okay, so that's the measurement we need to know what we are folding. All right, so I said the bust divided by 4 plus additional 12 inches. All right, so mine came out to 20. So let's check, let's mark that out 20. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to determine the overlap allowance. Okay, remember it's an overlap top, so we need to determine what allowance we need for that. Normally people use 5, yeah, but this is what you do. You divide your underbust because the overlap goes directly under the bust. All right, so you divide your underbust by 4, then add extra 2 inches allowance. Okay, my underbust is 28.5, so when divided by 4, that will give me 7.2 approximately. Adding 2 inches allowance, that will give me 9.2 approximately. So we'll start from here to get our overlap allowance. Okay, so 9.2, right? This is 9.2. So now this is our overlap area, the allowance we need for the overlap. So we are not working on this part of this paper, okay? This is the area we need. Remember, I took 20, that is my bust, the largest circumference of the upper part, divided by 4 plus extra 12 inches. I marked it out. Then now the overlap allowance is under bust divided by 4 plus extra 2 inches allowance. This is it. So now taking our measurement, we are taking our measurement from this line to this place. So this is how we are going. We are going like this, okay? Not this way. We are going this way, okay? From the overlap line, we are going this way, okay? So what we're going to do next is to take our vertical measurements, which is our shoulder to bust, yeah, like that. So our my shoulder to bust is 9.5. And the next is under bust. My under bust is 13. Then the length of my half length is 18.5. Okay, this is 18.5. Then extra half an inch for joining to the lower part, which is the trouser. So that will be 19. Okay. Okay, so let's take the same thing here. Okay, so this is my shoulder line. Normally, yes, I usually start with half an inch, yeah. Like I said, sewing has so many ways depending on what suits you well. Okay, I'm not adding any half an inch, all right, so I'm just going to start from the topmost part of this paper. I already added the half an inch here. Okay, that's for the shoulder. You can decide to do yours here and add half an inch for joining the trouser, or 1 inch for the shoulder and for joining the trouser. Okay, so now we're done taking our vertical measurements. Let's take our shoulder first. Okay, so taking our shoulder measurement, my shoulder is 15 divided by 2, that's 7.5. Extra half an inch for joining to the sleeve, that will be 8. Okay, so I'm going to mark 8. Remember, start your measurement from here. Okay, so that'll be 8. Let's take the slope. The slope is usually 1 inch below. You mark the 1 inch. Our shoulders are not straight, so we need to apply the effects so that you come down 1 inch. So from this 1 inch, here, you take the armhole length. The armhole length is whatever you took from here to here. That's your shoulder measurement plus half an inch. So mine is 8, so my armhole length will be 8, starting from this shoulder slope line. Okay, this is 8. Although this measurement depends, yeah, it depends. Sometimes people's bodies are not all the same, yeah, and you might have someone who has a broad shoulder but the bust area or the down part area is quite slim. That way, if you take this measurement, if you work with this measurement, the armhole will be very big for the person. So you just have to know what suits the person. Okay, so now I've taken this, I'll make sure it's 8 here so I can have a straight line. Okay, this is my 8. I'm going to straighten the line. Okay, and I'll draw this out. Okay, to get the armhole curve, you already know what we do. 1 inch from this angle 90 degree we are having here. So from that point, take 1 inch. This is 1 inch. Then you take your curve ruler, French curve, whatever you have, and make a curve. Okay. Like this. Okay. So this is our armhole curve. This is the easiest method you can get your armhole curve. Okay. So this is for the back armhole. If you've not seen my previous video, there's something called an armhole effect. That's only for the front. Okay. So to get that, from this shoulder slope line, we have 8 here, right? So 8 divided by 2, that will be 4. So this is the midpoint of this. This is the midpoint. You come in by either half an inch or 0.75. So let me use half an inch for this. Let me use half an inch for this. Okay. So we take our curve. So that from that half an inch, take it to this 1 inch you came in by and join it to the armhole slope. Let's do that. You can make a straight line or a curve, depending on what we want. Okay, so this is the front armhole and this is the back armhole. Okay, I have to cut the back armhole first, use it to trace the back before cutting out the front armhole. Okay, so after that, let's go for the neckline. So the neckline depends. The standard is actually 3, but I'll go for 4. I'll go for 4. It's an overlap, so let me work with 4. Okay, so I'll connect this slope down to this neckline. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do right now, let's leave the neck area for now. We'll come back to this. Let's take our horizontal measurements. Okay, so my bust, this is my bust line. My bust is 32 divided by 4, that is 8. So I'm going to mark 8 here. This is 8. Extra 2 inches allowance. Okay, this is my under the bust line. So my under bust is 28.5 divided by 4, that's 7.2 approximately. Okay, so I'm going to take 7.2 plus extra 2 inches allowance. Then my waistline, outline line, my waist is 27 divided by 4, that is 6.75. Okay, 6.75. Plus extra 2 inches allowance. So my dart is also here, all right? So I'm going to add that to this, so 1 inch allowance for the dart, all right? So now I'm going to join the lines together. Okay. To take that measurement, you need your nipple to nipple measurement, all right? Distance from one nipple to the other nipple. Mine is 7, so 7 divided by 2, that is 3.5. So I'll take 3.5 here. Okay, so when I'm cutting down, I'm going to notch it to know where my dart will sit. So let's come back to the neckline. Okay, I need to straighten out these lines. So for the back neckline, normally if you're following my videos, you know I love to cut 2 things at the same time, 2 necklines and 2 armhole. Okay, so for the back neckline, I'll come down by 1.5. Come down by 1.5. Okay. Then connect. I think I might have to make my neckline 3.5. Yeah. Let me reduce it to 3.5 instead of 4 that I did initially. Okay, I don't want it to sew down. So we connect the shoulder slope to the new neckline. Then I'll have to make a curve here for the neckline, the back neckline for now. Okay. You can do freehand. Okay. Alright, so my front neckline, depending on what you want, the standard is 5. For this overlap dress, the standard is 5. If you want to expose your bust more, you can keep going down, you know. For me, I want my neck depth to be 9.5. That's exactly my bust point line. That is where I want to take from, okay? So my neck depth to be 9.5. So I'm going to connect this 9.5. I'll come down a bit from the underbust. All right, so my lapping room from the underbust, I'll come down a bit, okay? So let's see what we have here. Use this to make a nice curve. Just make any design that you're comfortable with, okay? Okay, so this is how my neckline is going to be, okay? All right, basically done here for the front part. So we're going to use this to cut out the back part, all right? Okay, so I'm done cutting. So before you start cutting the back, make a notch at your dart, the dart marking, make a notch there. Okay, also make a notch this overlapping allowance, just make a little notch there. Also make a notch at this point. When I cut it out, I'll make the notch, okay? So I'm going to fold this overlapping allowance in. We're about to cut in the back part, okay? So I'm going to fold it in. So now we just have like a basic bodice right now. Just have a basic bodice right now, okay? So I'm using this down part. Okay, mark out your zipper allowance. I normally use 1 inch. You can use 2 if you like. Okay, so I'm marking out my zipper allowance. I'm using 1 inch to mark it out. You can use 2 depending on what you want. Straighten the line. Okay, so remember the back effect I normally have, the zipper effect I normally have, which is taking 1/2 inch. Okay, let me pin down my front bodice to the back. So I'm done pinning the front bodice to the back paper. Like this is the paper I already have for my back part, so I already pinned the front bodice to it. Now I want to take the back effect, that's the zipper effect. Our back is not straight, so we'll come down to the waistline, come in by 1/2 inch, then on the underbust line as well, 1/2 inch. We'll join these two together. Okay, then from here, blend it in with the, just blend it in. To continue the 1 inch. Okay, so now that I'm done carving out the zipper effect, the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to cut, basically. So I'm going to cut out the back neckline, cut out the back armhole. When I'm done, then I'll take out the front neckline and front armhole. Okay. Make a notch at the back pattern as well. Okay, so now this is my back bodice, overlap bodice. You cut 2 of this because I zip at the back. Cut 2 of this, and this is the front. So the front now, I'm going to take out the front neckline. Okay, now I'll take out the front armhole as well. Okay, so this is my front overlap. But this, you're cutting 2 of these, okay, because 1 for the right, 1 for the left. Okay, so I'll do that on my main fabric. Okay, I'm trying to manage my pattern paper, so I'll do that on the main fabric. Okay, so this is basically it. So now I'm going to notch. I already notched this end. I'm going to notch here as well to know where my lapping starts from. Okay. Okay. All right. So for this, you can decide to finish it up with a bias, right, or a lining. But for me, I will use facing to finish up mine. So now I'll be cutting the front facing. After that, I'll cut out the back facing. Okay. For the front facing, normally I'll tell you, oh, fold, make sure there's a fold. This is an overlap. Basically, the front is open. Okay, like it's open before you join it in. So there won't be any need for, oh, let here be unfold, and no, there won't be any need for that. So just basically what we just need is, we need this all the way to the shoulder. So that's basically what we need. Here, just maybe a little bit, we'll just take a little bit from here. All right, so let's match it up. So I'm done pinning the front pattern paper, what I used to drop the front. I'm done pinning it to the main fabric. Now I'm going to cut it out, okay? So guys, I'm done tracing it out on my main fabric. I'm going to use this fabric to cut out the pockets. So the measurement for that will be 10 by 14. Normally the standard is 7 by 14, but I'll take mine 14 by 10. Okay, that's the measurement I'm going to use for the pockets. I'm going to cut 2 of those and also cut out my sleeves. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. All right, this is the cutting of the upper part, that's the overlap part of the jumpsuit. Right, this is the upper part of the jumpsuit. It's an overlap. Okay, thank you so much for watching the cutting of this.